So Ally is a platform that was adopted by Blackboard that makes our content more accessible. It will automatically scan your digital content that you've uploaded into your course and give you feedback to make them more accessible. So what does it look like for you? Have you seen this on yours,
yep.
Anthony?
Speedometer, yep.
Okay, the little, yeah, yes. So anytime you put a document into your course, Ally performs a series of steps to evaluate its accessibility, and you get these fun little gauges. Students do not see those gauges. I'm going to tell you that right up front. Those gauges are meant for your eyes only, or mine as the Ally administrator. So we can see that on the Moodle back end, but traditionally they're just for the instructor to see. Okay? When we look at them, it's a ranking. Red is the worst. Orange is a little bit better. Green, you're getting there, and then there's a darker green, which means they're perfect. It's hard to achieve perfection in anything, in any document, but we are working on it. Coastal, as an institution, really wants faculty to look very carefully at those that are showing up as red, because that means there's major issues and they're going to be more difficult for our students to access those documents. So here's a good example of what the gauges mean. When you pull it up, you just click on the gauge, and the gauge will give you all the information you need about your particular document. The little button up on the right that says all issues, that means there's more than one thing going on with it. So if you click on the all issues button, and we're going to go through this, you'll get a list of everything that needs to be fixed within your document. In some cases, Ally is able to fix them right into the system, but for the most part, this is really just a tool to help you identify what those issues are. You may need to go back to the Word document or the PDF and work within those programs, and we'll talk about that when we go through some examples. Okay, so now what does this look like for students? Students will open this up and it will generate alternative files for them. So they get to see this cute little A here, which means they have an option to download alternative formats. Here's a list of those formats that are available for our students. So it's really cool. If you have a PDF that is not showing up with good information, they can download it as an OCR. And that's really cool, because then they're able to use their screen reader and be able to search for information. It can be downloaded as an HTML, EPUB, Braille, etc. And we're going to take a look at each one of these. Okay? So the advantages are, if you have a tagged PDF, you want to be able to read those things and those characters more carefully with your screen reader. So it just provides opportunities for students to get information in a variety of ways, instead of traditionally just looking on the screen and seeing anything. Yes?
So I saw you had the Beeline reader up there.
Yep, we're going to look at that.
Cool. Quick question about that. Can I save, or can a student save like the Beeline reader form of that document?
I would think if they downloaded it, it would automatically happen that way. Because once you download it, it's on your computer.
Sure. But
so,
if it's downloaded in that form, it's not like it just pulls up.
Nope.
As that. Okay.
Cool. Nope. Everything, when you open the alternative formats, it basically is downloading it onto your device in that format. Okay? So this first one, the OCR, is really cool from the standpoint of we traditionally will scan and upload PDFs. Okay? It'll automatically say, no, scan PDFs just aren't a great thing. But if you're able to download it as an OCR, you as a faculty member, it's really cool, because you could in turn download it as an OCR, save it, and re-upload it into your course.
So we can just use it as a converter.
Exactly. So that's the one that's really cool from a standpoint as a faculty member of using it as a converter. So this is the OCR. HTML formats help. How many students do you think read stuff on their phones?
Probably all.
Guilty. So it will convert the document to fit the size of the screen or the device that they're using. This one, through an EPUB, you can actually do some annotations on there, which is really good for students learning. Whoops, I went past there too fast. Braille readers for students who have that device and need to have access. We've got the MP3. So if you have documents that students, it's a book or whatever that they need to read, a lot of documents, they can actually download it as an MP3 and listen to it as they're driving. And I mean, attention-wise, I would much rather listen than read. I'm not a big reader, which is terrible to say, but it's pretty cool. They can download it in English. There's some, I believe, and I can't definitely say, there are a variety of languages that can be downloaded in the audio as well. I know we do some translation through Ally in different languages, but I'm not quite sure of the audio. I know Spanish is definitely one of them.
There's a long list of,
Well, I know we can translate, but I think what they might have to do is download the translation and then maybe re-download it in an MP3 so that it reads it back to them. I've not tested it because
you wouldn't know if it's right or wrong.
yeah, I absolutely would not. I know Sherry has been working with the lab, the students over in Patient's lab, to have them test out some of these things to see how it works for our foreign language students. Here's the Beeline Reader. This is really cool. So I guess there's been some studies that say if you have some call out colors, it draws your attention to those colors and makes it easier to read and interpret. So this is what you were asking about, Anthony. I believe if you download in the Beeline Reader, it saves it that way. But that's a good question. I'll have to go back and play with that and see.
So the document on the left is the original?
Yep.
And that's what...
Yep. So, and when we get into it, if we want to play with it, we can. There are actually color options. So it's if you like more toned down colors, you can choose those. If you like bright, you can choose bright. There's a couple different choices. So the whole idea is that the main content is pulled out and is highlighted in some sort of color to draw your attention in to read. So that's pretty nice. And we, as a university, are piloting Beeline Reader. It's not totally integrated into Ally across every platform. We were lucky to be one of the chosen ones, and we're piloting it. And depending on what kind of feedback we get and results, Ally's looking to roll this out for free. It becomes part of your Ally package. I shouldn't say for free. Nothing's free. Yes?
How do students who don't have maybe a diagnosed reading challenge view this type of document? Like, do they enjoy it, or are they like, I'd rather have the black and white?
Well, that's their choice, because the alternative formats are optional. If they can just read normally and don't need any assistance or don't need to see it in an alternative format, they don't have to choose this.
Oh, I know they don't. I'm just kind of curious.
I don't know. We haven't, our students in our office, they don't have any challenges, and they love this. They think it's really, because you can, it's like anything else. Have you ever seen the trick? There's something on Facebook where they say if you can read this document without blah blah blah, and the letters are upside down and they're all mixed up, and it's your brain just works that way. It just goes to certain words and picks them up. They say if you can get the first letter and the last letter, I think it is, of a word, you can figure out what the word is. So I just see this as another one of those kinds of things.
Just curious.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's a good question. Then you might want to check with your students.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm tempted to put up both versions because I'm curious how many students have undiagnosed challenges that maybe.
Well, I sent this. We have a challenge document, and I sent it to Dr. Winslow because he said to me, from a design standpoint, this makes him nuts seeing this. He's like, I can't take all those colors. So I said, well, here, let me send you the challenge and try it, thinking about it's supposed to provide higher comprehension. So I said, try it and see what you think. So I'm anxious to hear back from him. He's like, I'll definitely do it. Because I think that if you take it for what it's worth, where it's supposed to be helping you with comprehension, it probably serves a pretty good purpose for that. You know, I mean, you look at this and,
I would just be reading those blue lines and that's it, because that's the only thing I see right now.
Yeah.
Are the blue ones. I
But-
would just be reading that.
you wouldn't read the red?
No, because they don't stand out enough.
They don't stand out enough. And see, that's the thing. You have an option where you can just get blue and black.
Right.
There are some color variations that you, if you have a preferred, you know, you can just feel naturally drawn to certain colors, you can choose that within Beeline. So this is a really unique tool. And I think we'll be surprised at how many students really like using it.
And I'm sorry, not to jump the gun. too
No,
much
you're
on
fine.
something. How do our students know about this? Is this
Okay.
something we need to build into our courses?
Yes, yes. And one of the things that you are now part of, I've added you, there's called the Ally Weekly Digest, and it just gives you some things to think about, tips, hints, things going forward with Ally. And at the beginning of the semester, I try and remind, I've sent out to faculty how to incorporate Ally into your syllabus so that students are aware. We also have a group of students from Edwards, their communication department, that is doing a project on how to communicate what Ally is all about to students. So you as an instructor, it really falls on you to get it out there for your students. Okay, we can only do so much because we don't really interface with the students as much as you all do. So,
So my recommendation would also to be, you teach face-to-face, right? You don't teach online, but you
I do both.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I would, if you have like some sort of welcome video, welcome letter that you use in your course,
that's a great idea.
emphasize it in there. And you may even also, maybe even talk to like your college about, because I know you guys are really good about doing actual program-specific orientations and where it's brought up there. And I know like in the fall, I actually did a presentation at one of the orientations. So moving forward in the future, like that might be something even for us to talk about at those orientations. But
Yeah.
that would be kind of
That's really
where I
cool.
get that out, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a nice idea. I
Yeah.
know we have one coming up actually in a few weeks for our new doc students.
Oh, okay,
Uh,
Okay.
That might be a potential option there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a good idea, yep.
Anytime we can get in front of a student and tell them about it. We were hesitant because, as you know, Ally was down for a while. You were to come to the last workshop in October. It actually, when I did my first workshop with these folks, it actually was not working. That was when we realized it's not working. We thought it was fixed, but it took several months to get it back up and running. And it was something that was going on with Moodle and Ally weren't talking nicely to each other. So, so it took a little while, but eventually now it's back up and running. So it's pretty good. And the Distance Learning Committee is one of their charges this year is to increase Ally awareness to faculty and students and get more participation. Because let's be honest, if you it can cause a lot of extra work for a faculty member. If all of your online documents are not accessible, it can cause a lot of work to have to go back and fix them all. We find that if you're in a cool grant, you need to do it because, you know, Sherry's watching for that. But we have a tremendous amount of online course content and digital content out there that it's a big deal. It's a big undertaking.
Well, I really like this program just because it seems like it's actually going to reduce the amount of work I'll have to do. When I think about the number of students who come in struggling with, I don't understand this, I'm having trouble with this, and it actually seems like, yeah, there's a time investment on the front end,
Right.
but potential
Right.
serious
Exactly.
dividends on the back end.
Exactly.
Good, forever.
Right. And that's a really good attitude to have about this because I agree with you. And I feel that when you're building your course content initially, making sure it's accessible so that when you put it into Moodle and Ally catches it, it already tells you how wonderful you are because you can do that. I mean, the Microsoft products, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and Adobe can do so much to help you get your documents to where they need to be before you even put them into your course.